Hello and welcome. Today's date comes in that of Wednesday. It is the 9th of October 2019. My name is Derek, all bets trades, and of the like, well, that is within each's own risk and their own reward. For the second time recently, the price action on silver has managed to go from well below the 18 average of lows and then retrace to the 18 average of highs. The last time I did that was on September the 23rd, and well, today it's managed to come up to this a very high 17 level, and I've been mentioning getting above 1823 would be the next target. But when you're in this nice little uptrend, and it's now stating a second time to get this thing back and going because the 18 average is practically flat now. So any decent move above is like, okay, let's see if we can get this thing going. It obviously has to get above this previous resistance high. And let's take a look at this on the shorter term. And within the triple hour, the price, which came from the lows at the 2100 stamp on October the 7th, came up to where we are now, which was also the high on October the 3rd. But thereafter the fact, having this sideways movement, and then even a little bit of further gain and continue sideways movement with his 18 average holding well, but basically holding and staying above an area of resistance. So it really does look as if this thing is ready for a break of this resistance whenever that would be. But it wouldn't be a surprise if I were to see that and then make a move, probably get above 18 and a quarter. I'll always be looking at the 18 average of lows as okay, this thing is live until the 18 lows tells me it's a failure. And in this, we can see here, it came down there. That's a scare plot. And there's a lot of people that'll get shaken out here. But what it did was it established a level of support that it was unable to clearly break down. And thus, we can see nothing other than the scare on that situation as far as breakage of the 18 lows and reversal to the downside. Because at some point that will happen, but will it happen now? Will it happen after we get to 18 and a quarter, or 1876, or 19, or $20, or 30? Of course, I'm realistically sarcastic on 30. But I'm also realistically sarcastic, stating that the Giants could defeat the Patriots by more than 4 touchdowns tomorrow night. We'll get to that in a little bit. That's not going to happen. And a quick look with gold, still hanging in there within the 18 highs, and still not no play yet since this failed breakdown. Because it's the play that of the failed breakdown, which should mean, oh my goodness, if it breaks above this 15 and a quarter, 15, 30, 40 type range, which means high probability of 16, 17, 1800 even, but we'll even say, well, that next key level, which we'll look at the monthly after this, which I think is around 17. Or is it resisting this area? Thus, we've established this level and probably break below this, or at least find a way to resist 1485, which was a support in here. So those are the two positive negatives. And things are looking very good. Just the fact that gold has been able to hold and congest and stay within this level after a clear, concise move from the break of this to the 15 and a quarter. And that up target is 1669. So yeah, that's how good my short-term memory is right now. But anyway, as that being stated, the uh, the way that's been holding up on here from the 18, does it need to have an 18 correction right now? Maybe, but right now it looks like there's a good chance if it gets above this that we probably see a good further momentum towards the upside. And Bitcoin is up like 2.4% today. But last time I looked at it, I thought it was like near break even. Okay, well, in at 8,400 right now, and on the monthly chart, still just diddly dangling, hanging in there with not so large volatility over the last little while, but from the move from two meh up moves and three very good ones, price action has still stayed above the lows of the last good up move, which was less superior than the middle gain move. And I thought this thing was going to be breaking down this week on the daily, and the one thing I learned back in the day from setups that I thought were good and they didn't work out as oh my goodness they shot fast in the opposite direction. For to say I thought it was good to short in here, yeah, I would have. If you're just playing a risk reward management, playing the game like you'd be sports betting and stuff, looking for just a quick winning play, yeah, I would have been yeah, short it. I will play it, cover your ass, cover it all down at the 6,300 or safe at 65, 66, 67. Nothing wrong with that because you could pierce above it. I mean, are you happy with 67 gain or 6,000? Okay, but we're not even talking about that because it hasn't even broken down below the support. So the two ways of entering, say, the position, okay, the one around 8,000 might have been. Well, right now it's at 84. and then waiting to go below 75. Well, if you waited, you still waited. It never happened, and now you're okay. Okay, I guess my short play didn't come in. At least hasn't yet, because it still could. I mean, all price has done is flatten out the 18 average for now, which is one of those stages as far as that of reversal of trends. And on the 3 hour, exitation of the 18, we had the move from October 6th, end of the day, start of the 7th. That lasted till lunch of that day. So the entire morning, New York time, of this move and the sideways consolidation. And here we have it. So now up to more of this area of established resistance. And it even goes up to about 8,600. But and for this level here, we're talking 8502. Hasn't quite gotten there, but it's still in that general area. It's now just starting to have a clear breakout amongst this resistance. If it can get above this next barrier of resistance, then it's like a wild card for how large a move could actually come into place, with this expected resistance being, of course, always where you came from, which would be around 10,000. As we can see on the single hour, there we can see nice momentum, very, very big volume. So I'm just going to cut to the chase and go to the 1 minute. And yeah, I guess it got going around 9:45, 10 o'clock. And really, even for that matter, 8 minutes ago. It's 10:26 as I'm doing this. Okay, well that's what Bitcoin's doing. Now I don't know what to expect from the alts, because my next segment was Bitcoin Cash, and well, I guess the minimum bet I'm going to be talking about is going higher. And its 1 minute term time frame looks something like this. And recently, a few minutes ago, got up to 245, now down to 238. That's over 2% in just a few minutes. And really, that's just nothing compared to the fact that it went from, well, 230 to 245, 15-point differential. That's like 7% or so. But on its daily term, it's looking as if it's, well, the band's flattened it. Yeah, that's the first thing. And all of the sideways reaction from this move, and no further down move, but no further breakout, no attempt to go down. And well, now we got an attempt to go up. That's where it stands. Previous where we came from, little area of like high 280s up to that of about 300. And in looking at this, I'm guessing Bitcoin dominance is actually going to be in favor of Bitcoin, because this is sorted by percentage gainers as of about an hour ago, which Sky was at the best, not anymore. 2 point was much higher than that. DGB was even a little higher too, and now we got like 5% down for T Fuel. Oh, I missed it. Oh, that was sick. That was sick. I'll show that, I suppose. Yesterday, I tried to get that trade in, I couldn't. Goes now down 6%. I should be taking a look at that, but uh, still only 6%. I probably want 10, 12%. Then I'd aggressively be looking to see what plays I can make on the buybacks. But anyway, let's take a look at Bitcoin. I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin dominance, and then I'm going to refer Bitcoin Cash very soon to that of sports. And I'm going to really be guessing it is a short-term move, because as I've been stating, and I already put plan on what I was going to say, this thing is breaking down, and it still obviously is. But I put a line here, which represents the September 18th low. And I do so for the short-term time frame. And this is exactly what I expected on the single hour, something like this. So whatever on it, it's just coming up to the 18 lows, and even still, it's got two layers to get above to consider the end of what looks to be a reversal of trend, clear breakdown. First level being 68 and 7, at least calculated by TradingView, and then of course this resistance between up to high 68s to 69. For this level was resisting the previous low. It did so starting October 6th, it went below it. But it really established this, so until it had a clear break of this, it wasn't that of a clear break. And well, I guess that happened about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And in viewing the 8 hour, well, this is a failed breakout, and it's now having its fast move lower. Expected area is a key level lower than this. So this three little bears, this is kind of too small, but it's not too much further from being okay. I would expect this to at least break below 68 from a failed move from this, what's going on. So I don't believe for now this 1 hour candle that I see higher, but we'll see. So as far as New England and the Giants is concerned, as I mentioned, 17 points favorite. There's a, yeah, Darius Slayton opinion play. I'm going to be talking about that. But in these specials that we have, they have a lot of lines. We got Tom Brady, which is actually got the over unders higher. I have 37 and a half even odds to go under. Now it's 40 and a half, but it's minus 127. So you get 3 extra yards. That's just a big, big number. I like that play. Now, Darius Slayton is the key one, and I like every single, other than the long reception. What's the odds on that? 20 and a half? I don't know enough about him to take any type of even opinion play on that. I mean, 20 and a half isn't that big for a receiver overall, though. But receiving yards, 47 and a half. Well, that's not that big of a number. 3.5 over, and even odds. And interesting if you like long odds at plus 82 for him to get a touchdown. It's New England's defense, and when you look at their passing yards they allow, and granted, you're looking at Miami's quarterback, you're looking at Washington's quarterback. Josh Allen did okay, and he's an okay quarterback, and Daniel Jones, I think, is better than an okay quarterback, too. So the three really, really bad, really good, amazing New England pass defense games were against really bad quarterbacks. The Jets, I think, being the other as well. So I can't lead too much into that. I really do think that Daniel Jones is gonna be forced to pass this ball. But man, there's a lot of injuries on the Giants side of the ball. They got Evan Ingram, who might have a difficult time playing. Sterling Shepard's pretty much out. Concussion protocol. He's not gonna pass it, and that's the big, big reason why is that concussion protocol. Now we do have Golden Tate back in the lineup too, which is an interesting one there. Also making it a little difficult. His numbers are a bit bigger. Now his over-under, I don't know if 16.5 is a low number. What I'll be doing today is looking a lot at Football Reference because there's a lot of good statistics there. And there's a lot of players to look at because the rest of the board odds are now available. So today I'll be looking at that, hopefully coming up with a through. Now if we click on or highlight this, it says maximum stake, and this is in Bitcoin Cash, 1.74. So your maximum bet is like a few $100. Minimum 0.0845. Well, that works out to $19.91 as a minimum bet. So it's not low for these. But it's also really not that high depending on how you look at it. Vegas, I don't think they take many bets under 20. But with all of these games, let me just give you a brief rundown of what I think on the early look of every other game. But within it, they got the specials for every player on here. So, I mean, this is a lot of games to look at. Home team's at the top. Okay, Carolina laying 2.5 in Tampa Bay. Man, Jameis Winston does find ways to lose games. And if that wasn't the case, I would really, really like Tampa. But that's what it comes down to. And the game of the week, the Washington Redskins go to Miami. In Miami, well, we won't see this too often. 3.5 point underdogs. They'll go right back to that 10, 20, 30 number. 30? Well, we'll see. Okay. What a bad game. New Orleans playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville favored by 1.5. New Orleans is pretty good, but they're on the road. Houston is in Kansas City. Kansas City favored by 4.5 is the rebound game for KC. Basically, what happened? This was just a matter of fact of the team that they were playing against, the Colts, effectively running the ball. But that defense was able to play very good press man-to-man coverage against the Kansas City Chiefs. Something that Aaron Rodgers, I remember watching him go through for the first time. I just watched Mahomes go through it, I think, for the first time. So there'll be definitely on both sides interesting chess match as far as how they work the film and the game plan coming into that week, making it very difficult for. Unless I've seen the lines, it's going to make a difficult game to handicap. Seattle playing against Cleveland. Seattle 2-point road favorites. What's the line for the interception here? They don't have the specials on this one. Okay. Well, they do for the Tampa game. But I'm going to be looking at, again, going back to the boat and playing on an interception for Baker Mayfield. Just keep on playing that. Same thing with Kansas City. Do they have that on this here? I want to go back to... No, they don't got it. What happened to them? They did in the Tampa game. I looked at them like sweet, and that's what I was looking at. Did they take it off, or they still have it? Yeah, the Tampa game has got it. So we got all of these: Cameron Brake, Chris Godwin, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore. This must be a dare. Who the heck is this guy? Must be a running back, maybe. Jameis Winston, Jarius Wright, Kyle Allen, Mike Evans. I don't know anything about the interceptions yet, but just out of curiosity, I mean, I couldn't even give you an opinion on anything like this until I actually handicap it. See, look at the juice here. Average, I mean, minus 110, minus 134. So, and they have to do it if they're going to be putting all these exotic props in. But when you see they make a mistake and they got so many questions, I mean, this is like 30, 40. I'm going to grade them. If they're really bad on one of them, then I bet it. That's basically how it comes down to it. Yeah, back to the games again. Anyway, so I'll be looking at that game next. Once the odds are out, I'll look at it then. Today's the day I figured they'd be coming out. I figured, you know what, I might do this all year long, see how it works, because I think it could be profitable. But anyway, moving on. Cincinnati playing against Baltimore. We got a spread of 11.5 for the Baltimore Ravens. Cincinnati does suck really bad. Big number, tough line. Tough line. This is why I like playing the player props, because I don't know how to play that game. Over under 48. Under, maybe that's a big number, but 54.5 in KC Houston. But Houston's a big scoring team, too. Okay, Philadelphia's heading into Minnesota. Minnesota 3-point favorite. Over under 44. I don't think that's that big of a number. -3, minus 105 doesn't seem like too bad, actually. And if you're gonna do a 6.5 point teaser, tease it too. I believe in teasing at the other side is plus 3.5. But other than that, no, nothing I see yet. Atlanta over 51, -2.5. Really? Atlanta deserves to be a road favorite. I mean, plus 119 money line on Arizona. I mean, Atlanta's really bad, especially defensively. There could be some big offensive points for Arizona coming into this game. San Francisco against the Los Angeles Rams. It's heavily juiced on the plus 3.5 for San Francisco. I'm huge on San Fran. I'm really bearish on the Rams, but I'm bearish on Todd Gurley and I'm bearish on the quarterback Jared Goff. I mean Connor Cup. I mean before coming in the season, I'm like Cup. The other two receivers, Brandon Woods and whoever that, I can't remember the other guy off the name offhand. But those three receivers, I'm like, yeah, they're evenly matched and they're all good. But man, Connor Cup is damn good actually. So I'll be interested to see how those lines go. He did have a highly inflated, amazing game last week. Dallas Cowboys into the Jets. Dallas a 7-point road favorite with a total at 43. Oh well, let's see. Jets are pretty bad too. Probably the right line. Again, like I'm going to be looking at the players for that one. Tennessee into Denver. Denver laying 2 points. Tennessee did not. They were unable to win a home game against Buffalo, and now they got to go into Denver. Denver's a bad team, but they're not that bad. It might not be that bad of a line, but still, I don't see any line spread that's too fantastic, other than maybe Minnesota. Pittsburgh and I was going to say San Diego because I'm still used to that. Especially when I look at LAC because I think of LA Clippers when I look at that for basketball. But uh, that's a lot of points. Pittsburgh's not that bad of a team, and Chargers aren't that good. That's actually a pretty good play, I think. That's just way too many points. 242 money line is a live play. And considering that's a Sunday night showcase, that's going to be perfect for DraftKings, which is what I'm going to lead this into as well. Because if you're interested in how to win showdowns, I really don't want to tell too many people, but I don't have many people watching this, so I don't really care too much on it. It's very, very long-term mathematically profitable, except I don't play at too big of stakes because it's just not worth it. And the rake is bad. But it actually, the showdowns, hockey's coming out. I'm actually enjoying hockey showdowns as well. That's a fantasy sport. And finally, Detroit against Green Bay. I'm big on both teams. Over the 46.5. I mean, that number can only go up on a Monday night and only at 46, I think. Okay, let's transition into DraftKings. And I'm not going to show their site, but they have showdowns, and I know how to win the football ones long term. I think I know how to win the hockey ones. The $3 games every week that they have, like almost half a million people playing. That's just too big for me not to say. I got to play that every week. So yeah, I understand that it's vague and all that, but that is a big game. But they have good statistics on there, and I use that a lot in my handicapping tool as well, which is why I'm bringing that up because I'll be using that. And if it needs be, I'll find footage of a player. If it gets to the point where I'm going to be okay, I think I like this play, or I think it might be there. I'm going to look more into it. What else can I find? What can I find from media beats and just what I can get on YouTube? So anyway, I said I'd talk about Theta Fuel, which really irritated me yesterday, especially now that I see it falling. As this is what the 1 minute term time frame looks. We can go 52 to 47. And you got to be fast with these moves. And lucky. I was neither of the two. But I traded this against BNB, but it's going to pretty much look in the same mechanism, though. As it was going up, I did a sell order in here, and then it was going up again. And I have a line in here, which will show on the shorter term time frame, but wasn't fast enough for this move. Nor was I lucky enough there after the fact. This is a 3 hour. Let's take a look at this even on a shorter term. And the 1 minute will do the trick. Okay. Fast enough and lucky enough. Neither. Oh, this was sick. But it happens though. So I was the night before in which it would have been somewhere near the 26.50 probably I would have sold it at. And then it went up a bunch more. Didn't have an order in. I didn't even have one. That was my mistake. I even had some on the exchange. As if it mattered. It only takes like 3 minutes, if even that, or about that, to send it from my hardware wallet to be available for sale on Binance. But I missed all of this. But I was around in here, and I'm like, you know what? Let's put an order in here at, I think it's 99. I think I went too greedy. 3,099 I put a sell order in. The high in here. You gotta be lucky. 3,089. Yeah. And then 3,090 the next minute. Near. And that's really how it comes down to it. Now it's like, if it goes down any further, maybe I'll buy what I sold back around the 26.50. Of course, that's against LITECOIN. And on its 1 minute, it goes from the 71 handle to the 70 handle. That's about 1.3, 1.4%. And on the daily chart, this time, there's going to be a lot of people that actually didn't even tune in for this because they stopped watching because of the sports section, which is actually why I like doing it this way. But anyway, that's just me. Failed breakout in here, but successfully correcting, holding and staying above the 18. No real fast move lower. And now, nothing has changed from the last few days. It's just grinding and staying. I'm not saying showing strength. It's just staying amongst the 18 average of highs. I'll say when it's doing this in an uptrend that it's showing strength at the 18 highs. But still, for what it's worth, if it gets above these short-term numbers and you see it in around here, well, who knows how far it can go because it got above here. Oh, yeah, if it gets above 72, it could have a nice move higher. Well, that nice move higher was 78, 79. And who knows what those levels are, but what we do know is that these things have had wild, wild moves. April 1st, this thing topped like almost all the other altcoins did against Bitcoin. And there can be fantastic moves that happen together, and they have in the past. Are we ready for one to happen very soon? Well, the early indications that I showed at Bitcoin Dominance say yes. No, I'm kidding. Of course not. No, it doesn't say that. It says, well, it's more probable now, and you got to keep your alert ready for it. But I hope it's yes. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.